Identity is not a concept to be studied. It is a revelation to be embodied, a truth to be claimed, a mantle to be worn with spiritual authority. Before anything in your outer world can bow, shift, rise, or multiply, your inner identity must awaken to the reality of who you truly are. This is the law. Your life mirrors your identity, not your wishes. Your results reflect your nature, not your longing. And the universe, exact and obedient, will never deliver beyond the borders of the self you have agreed to be. So hear this now with the force of a divine decree. You are not small. You are not limited. You are not needy. You are not weak. These are illusions you were taught, stories you inherited, shadows cast over your brilliance. But they were never the truth. The truth is older than your name, older than your body, older than the world you walk in. The truth is written in your spiritual DNA. You are the expression of divine supply, the offspring of infinite substance, the vessel of God's abundance. Everything begins with identity. Creation begins with identity. Wealth begins with identity. If you call yourself poor, the universe must uphold your proclamation. If you call yourself blessed, the universe must accelerate its gifts to match the definition you have chosen. Reality is compelled by divine law to obey your self-concept. This is why your identity must be lifted before your finances rise, before your opportunities unfold, before your prosperity flows. Who you are must expand before what you have can multiply. Say aloud with power, I am the divine expression of abundance. Say it again. I carry the nature of unlimited supply. Say it again until your subconscious trembles. Wealth is my identity, not my wish. The moment you shift who you believe yourself to be, everything around you rearranges to match the new vibration. This is the secret the soul has waited lifetimes to hear. You do not chase wealth. You embody wealth. You do not seek opportunities. Your identity summons them. You do not beg for blessings. Blessings recognize you by your spiritual signature. Identity is the magnet. Identity is the command. Identity is the law. When you call yourself chosen, life treats you as chosen. When you call yourself prosperous, circumstances bend to prosper you. When you call yourself favored, doors open before you touch them. When you call yourself unshakable, obstacles dissolve before they approach. You become untouchable when you remember who you are. You become irresistible when you claim your divine nature. You become unstoppable when you speak from the truth of your spiritual bloodline. Say this with authority. I reject the identity of lack. I reject the identity of limitation. I reject the identity of struggle. And now speak the truth. I accept the identity of divine abundance. I accept the identity of spiritual wealth. I accept the identity of limitless supply. Nothing can be withheld from the one who knows themselves. Nothing can block the one who is aligned with their true name. Nothing can shrink the one who stands in the fullness of their divine identity. You are not here to become wealthy. You are here to remember that you already are. Wealth is not something you acquire. It is something you awaken. Prosperity is not something you chase. It is something you allow. Abundance is not something you earn. It is something you acknowledge. Identity is the gateway. Identity is the throne. Identity is the law governing every manifestation you will ever experience. And tonight, as these words imprint themselves upon your subconscious mind, your identity rises into its original form. Powerful, radiant, limitless, divine. Say aloud with the full force of your spiritual authority, I am the heir of infinite supply. I am the embodiment of divine prosperity. I am wealth in spiritual form now made manifest. The vibration of abundance is not a wish, not a dream, not a gentle hope. It is a frequency, a spiritual current, a divine pulse that moves through the universe with absolute precision. Everything that exists is vibration. Every form, every fortune, every opportunity, every dollar, every open door is born first in the realm of frequency. And the one who masters vibration becomes the master of manifestation, for the universe responds not to human effort but to spiritual resonance. You receive what you are in harmony with. You attract what you vibrate. You pull into your life what your inner frequency announces. Hear this now with prophetic force. Abundance is a vibration long before it becomes money. Prosperity is a frequency long before it becomes visible. Wealth is a spiritual tone long before it becomes physical form. When your vibration aligns with abundance, abundance cannot resist you. When your frequency matches prosperity, prosperity seeks you out. When your inner rhythm harmonizes with divine supply, supply rushes into your life with mathematical certainty. Say aloud with authority, my vibration calls forth abundance. Your vibration is your signature in the spiritual world. It tells the universe who you are, what you allow, what you expect, what you embody. If you vibrate fear, you receive delay. If you vibrate doubt, you receive confusion. If you vibrate scarcity, you receive limitation. But when you rise into the vibration of abundance, when you stand in the frequency of overflow, when you choose the tone of prosperity, life reorganizes itself with astonishing speed in your favor. This is divine law. The outer follows the inner. This is divine truth. Form obeys frequency. This is divine revelation. You cannot hold abundance while vibrating lack. Say this now with spiritual force. I command my vibration to rise. Every thought is a tuning fork. Every emotion is an instruction. Every belief is a broadcast. Your mind sends out the signal and the universe brings back the matching form. You cannot fool divine law. The universe does not respond to words alone. It responds to vibration. It is not what you say. It is the frequency beneath what you say. You may speak abundance, but if your vibration is fear, the universe will answer the fear. You may speak prosperity, but if your vibration is doubt, the universe will answer the doubt. So, elevate the vibration. Lift the frequency, ascend into the spiritual tone that calls forth miracles. Say it with conviction. I vibrate at the frequency of abundance. I harmonize with unlimited supply. My energy is wealth. My aura is prosperity. My spirit is overflow. As you shift your vibration, everything shifts with you. People show up. Opportunities emerge. Ideas ignite. Doors open. Resources multiply. This is not chance. This is law. This is not randomness. This is resonance. Abundance must gather around the one who emits its frequency. Just as rivers gather in the valley that has made itself ready to receive them. There is a realm where abundance flows without resistance. There is a vibration where wealth responds instantly. There is a frequency where divine timing, divine favor, and divine provision converge in perfect synchronicity. And that realm, that vibration, that frequency is available to you now, not tomorrow, not someday, now in this breath, in this moment, in this awakening of consciousness. Say aloud again. My vibration is abundance made manifest. Let the old vibration fall away. Release the tone of fear. Release the frequency of struggle. Release the vibration of waiting, hoping, trying. Rise into the vibration of knowing, claiming, declaring. For abundance is not something you pursue. It is something you tune into. Prosperity is not something you chase. It is something you align with. Wealth is not something you force. It is something you become. Tonight the vibration shifts. Tonight your energy rises. Tonight your entire being harmonizes with the divine frequency of endless supply. Say it one final time as a spiritual command to the universe itself. I am the vibration of abundance, and abundance answers me now. The covenant of unlimited supply is older than time, older than the stars, older than the breath in your lungs. It is the original promise written into the fabric of your being, the eternal agreement between your soul and the infinite source from which you came. Before you had a name, before you had a body, before you opened your eyes to this world, the covenant was sealed. You will never be without supply. You will never be abandoned to lack. You will never be cut off from the infinite riches of the universe. This covenant is your spiritual birthright, your divine inheritance, the unbreakable link between you and the overflowing abundance of creation. Hear this with the full weight of revelation. Supply is not earned. Supply is not achieved. Supply is not the result of human effort. Supply is a covenant. It is a divine relationship between you and the infinite that cannot be severed, cannot be disrupted, cannot be diminished unless you agree to forget it. Lack exists only in forgetfulness. Scarcity exists only in disbelief. But the moment you remember the covenant, the moment you reclaim the truth, the moment you stand in your spiritual authority, supply rushes, returns, multiplies, and restores. Say aloud with commanding force, I am in covenant with infinite supply. This is not poetic language. This is law. The universe operates on precise spiritual structures. And the covenant of supply is one of its highest laws. Just as the sun cannot cease to shine, divine supply cannot cease to flow. Just as the rivers cannot cease to move, divine wealth cannot cease its circulation. Just as the seasons cannot cease to turn, divine abundance cannot halt its increase. The only question is, are you aligned with the covenant or arguing against it? Are you claiming your inheritance or contradicting it with thoughts of fear, doubt, and limitation? Every time you worry, you deny the covenant. Every time you fear lack, you step outside the agreement. Every time you declare, I do not have, you close the gate that was created to pour blessings into your life. So speak with authority. I refuse the lie of lack. I refuse the illusion of limitation. I return to the covenant that can never fail. The covenant declares that supply is infinite, not seasonal, not occasional, not unpredictable, infinite. There is no shortage in divine substance, no ceiling in spiritual wealth, no limit on the ideas, opportunities, resources, and channels the universe can use to bless you. Money is only one form of supply. Ideas are supply, people are supply, favor is supply, opportunity is supply, guidance is supply, creativity is supply. Doors that open without human reason are supply. When you walk in covenant consciousness, supply comes from directions you never foresaw, through channels you never imagined, carried by means the world cannot explain. Say this now with power. Supply flows to me in ways seen and unseen. The covenant is not activated by begging. It is activated by recognition. It awakens when you remember who you are and who your source is. You are not maintained by the economy. You are not sustained by your job. You are not upheld by human systems. You are supported by an infinite source that is incapable of failure. The channels may change, but the source does not. The forms may shift, but the supply is eternal. What one door closes, the covenant replaces. What one connection loses, the covenant replenishes. What one season withdraws, the covenant restores a hundredfold. You are the beneficiary of endless provision. You are the recipient of divine overflow. You are the heir of unlimited wealth. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. This is not fantasy. This is spiritual law in motion. Declare this truth. I am upheld by a covenant that never collapses. Feel the authority of it. Feel the certainty of it. Feel the solidity of a spiritual agreement that cannot break, cannot bend, cannot be revoked. For it was written not on paper, but in the very structure of your soul. Tonight you return to the covenant. Tonight you reclaim the supply that has always been yours. Tonight the gates open because you remember the truth. I walk in the covenant of unlimited supply. And supply answers me without fail. The authority of the spoken word is the oldest power known to man. The first force released into the universe, the original instrument through which creation came into being. Before there was form, before there was light, before there was substance, there was the word. And the word commanded reality into existence. This same power, this same spiritual force, the same creative authority has been placed within you. Your speech is not casual. Your declarations are not empty. Your words are not sound. They are laws. They are commands. They are spiritual decrees that shape the invisible and dictate the visible. What you speak, you summon. What you declare, you form. What you repeatedly proclaim becomes the template that reality must obey. Hear this with the full fire of revelation. Your mouth is the gate of manifestation. Your tongue is the instrument of divine law. Your voice is the conduit between the invisible and the material. Nothing you speak goes unanswered. Every word becomes a seed that must produce after its kind. Speak lack and lack multiplies. Speak fear and fear expands. Speak abundance and abundance accelerates. Speak authority and authority rises within you. The spoken word is the steering wheel of destiny, turning your life toward blessing or toward struggle, depending on the direction of your speech. Say aloud with force, my words create my world. Your subconscious hears every word you speak, interprets it as instruction, and rearranges your internal reality to match your declaration. The universe listens to your words as commands. Spiritual law responds to your speech as orders. Nothing is neutral. Every sentence is either lifting you or limiting you, opening your path or obstructing it, calling forth your good or pushing it away. This is why you must speak with intention. Speak with authority. Speak with prophetic certainty. Speak with the consciousness of one who knows that God's creative power has been placed in their mouth. Say it again. My word is law on my path. Each declaration carries vibration. Each affirmation carries frequency. Each utterance carries the blueprint of what will soon take form. Your words do not disappear into the air. They imprint the atmosphere. They alter the field around you. They carve new channels through which your blessings must flow. This is not metaphor. This is spiritual mechanics. When you speak, you are sending instructions into the fabric of the universe, and the universe rearranges itself to fulfill your decree. So speak deliberately, speak boldly, speak prophetically. Refuse to speak fear. Refuse to speak defeat. Refuse to speak limitation. Refuse to speak anything that contradicts your divine destiny. Your word is too powerful to be wasted on complaint, too sacred to be spent on doubt, too creative to be used against yourself. Say now with conviction, I speak only what I desire to see. When you declare abundance, spiritual law gathers every resource needed to fulfill it. When you declare favor, doors open with unnatural ease. When you declare wealth, opportunities recognize your voice and come toward you. When you declare identity, the universe confirms it. When you declare freedom, chains fall in obedience to your command. Your word is not hoping. Your word is ordering. Your speech is not wishing. Your speech is creating. Your mouth is not whispering into emptiness. Your mouth is shaping the unseen into form. You have spoken yourself into struggle before. Now you will speak yourself into victory. You have spoken limitation. Now you speak overflow. You have spoken stagnation. Now you speak movement. You have spoken fear. Now you speak divine power. You have spoken as the wounded. Now you speak as the ruler of your reality. Say aloud with unshakable authority, what I speak, I receive. What I decree, I experience. What I command, I become. Let every word you release be drenched in certainty. Let every declaration carry the vibration of truth. Let every sentence shift your world. Let your speech rise into its rightful power. For tonight you reclaim the oldest force in existence, the authority of the spoken word. Say it one final time as a decree to the universe itself. I speak my abundance into existence, and it manifests without delay. The power of subconscious reprogramming is the silent throne of creation, the hidden altar where reality obeys, the sacred chamber where your destiny is shaped long before it becomes visible. The subconscious mind is not passive, not neutral, not optional. It is the architect of your life, the engine of your manifestations, the unseen force that takes every belief, every image, every emotion, every word you repeat, and builds your world around it with absolute precision. You cannot outrun your subconscious. You cannot outperform its programming. You cannot rise above the patterns you have allowed it to hold. But you can rewrite it. You can command it. You can reprogram it to align with divine truth instead of human limitation. Hear this with prophetic clarity. Your subconscious is the soil of the universe planted inside you. Whatever seed you drop into it, fear or faith, lack or abundance, defeat or victory, must grow, must multiply, must produce after its kind. Because the subconscious does not argue, does not question, does not resist. It accepts, it obeys, it carries out whatever instruction you give it repeatedly and emotionally. This is why repetition is power. This is why affirmation is law. This is why meditation transforms worlds. The subconscious is always listening, always recording, always shaping your vibration into form. Say aloud with authority, my subconscious mind is my servant and I command it now. From childhood forward, you have been programmed by voices, by environments, by fear, by lack, by opinions, by memories, by patterns that never belong to you. But tonight, the old programming breaks. Tonight, the subconscious receives new orders. Tonight, you step into mastery over the realm that most people live at the mercy of. You are no longer governed by hidden scripts. You are no longer ruled by invisible patterns. You are no longer directed by past wounds or inherited beliefs. You rise into your divine right to choose your inner truth and thereby shape your outer world. Your subconscious is the seat of your vibration. It is where belief becomes frequency. It is where frequency becomes attraction. It is where attraction becomes manifestation. This is why transformation begins within, why abundance begins within, why prosperity begins within. You must saturate the subconscious with the truth of who you are until it surrenders to that truth and expresses it without resistance. Say it now with fire. My subconscious is aligned with abundance. My subconscious is programmed for wealth. My subconscious obeys divine law. Every night as you sleep, the subconscious is open, impressionable, receptive. It listens when the outer mind goes quiet. It obeys when the conscious mind stops interfering. This is why sleep meditation is powerful. This is why nighttime declarations create miracles. In the silence, the subconscious accepts every word as instruction, every affirmation as law, every declaration as fate. You do not fight with the subconscious. You feed it. You flood it. You saturate it until the old patterns dissolve from lack of energy. You speak to it the way a commander speaks to an army, clearly, boldly, repeatedly, until the new identity becomes the only identity it recognizes. Say again with absolute authority. My subconscious is programmed for success, prosperity, and divine overflow. When the subconscious shifts, the entire world must shift with it. People respond differently. Opportunities emerge suddenly. Money flows unexpectedly. Ideas ignite effortlessly. Doors open where walls once stood. This is not coincidence. This is reprogramming. This is spiritual technology. This is divine law operating at the deepest level of your being. You no longer walk according to the old story. You no longer follow the old script. You no longer repeat the inherited patterns of fear, lack, or limitation. The subconscious now carries a new vibration, a new identity, a new truth. You are abundant, worthy, powerful, limitless. Speak it as a decree. My subconscious mind works for me, not against me. My subconscious creates wealth for me with ease. My subconscious fulfills my divine destiny. Let this truth settle into the deepest layers of your being. Let it imprint, embed, root itself until it radiates through every thought, every feeling, every action, every expectation. Tonight, the subconscious becomes your ally, your builder, your silent partner in manifestation. Tonight, the old program collapses and the new truth rises. Say it one final time with prophetic force. I command my subconscious to align with abundance now, and it is done. The alignment with universal flow is the sacred synchronization between your spirit and the rhythmic intelligence of the cosmos, the great harmony that governs creation, movement, expansion, and abundance. Nothing in this universe is random. Nothing is chaotic. Nothing is without order. Beneath every event, behind every opportunity, within every shift is a divine current guiding all things toward perfect fulfillment. When you align with this current, life rises to meet you. When you resist it, life becomes struggle. Alignment is not about controlling the universe. It is about attuning yourself to the power that already governs it. The flow that already knows your path, your supply, your purpose, your next step. Hear this with prophetic force. The universe is always moving in the direction of your highest good. And alignment simply means you stop resisting what is meant for you. You stop fighting divine timing. You stop debating divine order. You stop doubting divine wisdom. You step into the stream and allow the current of abundance to carry you. This is the law. What flows freely multiplies. What is resisted withers. What is aligned expands. The universe cannot withhold from the one who moves with its rhythm. Say aloud with authority, I move in harmony with universal flow. There is a frequency to flow, steady, expanding, unbothered, deeply intelligent. When you align with it, you feel guided rather than lost, carried rather than burdened, lifted rather than weighed down. Ideas arrive effortlessly. Opportunities come without strain. People appear at the perfect moment. Doors open before you knock. The flow is mathematical, precise, never late, never early. It moves with divine intelligence, and when you synchronize with it, abundance becomes natural. Prosperity feels inevitable. Success is no longer forced. It is allowed. The universe is a river of energy, and everything that belongs to you travels along this river. Your task is not to push, not to grasp, not to chase, but to match the flow, to rise into the vibration where your blessings already exist. The moment your energy matches the frequency of what you desire, the flow carries it into your life. Not by chance, not by luck, but by alignment. Say this now with conviction. I release all resistance. I align with divine movement. Resistance is the only blockage that has ever existed. Fear, doubt, worry, control, urgency, self-sabotage, impatience. These are dams that obstruct the current. These are walls that block supply. These are the inner forces that delay what is already yours. But alignment dissolves every obstruction. Alignment breaks every barrier. Alignment restores divine order. When you trust the flow trusts you. When you relax into divine timing accelerates. When you stop forcing outcomes, outcomes manifest naturally. Flow is not passive, it is powerful. Flow is not weak, it is mighty. Flow is not wandering, it is exact and purposeful. To align with flow is to step into agreement with the highest intelligence in existence. Say again with power, I align with the movement of my highest good. The universe does not operate through struggle. Trees do not strain to grow. Rivers do not force their path. Stars do not stress to shine. Everything in creation moves in effortless cooperation with universal flow. You were designed to do the same. You were made to walk in ease, clarity, direction, and abundance. You were created to follow divine cues, inner guidance, intuitive leading. When you ignore the guidance, you walk against the flow. When you trust it, everything accelerates. Flow brings the right opportunities. Flow orchestrates divine connections. Flow arranges perfect timing. Flow reveals the next step before you need it. You are not navigating life alone. You are being carried by a current that cannot fail. Say with full authority, I step into the flow that guarantees my success. Let the old rhythm fall away. The rhythm of forcing, pushing, fearing, doubting. Step into the rhythm of trust, certainty, surrender, and divine orchestration. When you do, abundance meets you without resistance. Wealth arrives without struggle. Success comes without strain. You become a magnet for everything that already belongs to you. Say it one final time as a decree spoken into the fabric of creation. I am aligned with universal flow, and the universe moves for me now.